Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Test, 1, 2, 3, test, 1, 2, 3, test, 1, 2, 3. Hi, everybody. I am here with Miss Nikki Shook.
Hello.
And we are discussing the impact of illness on a patient. So, Nikki, would you like to tell us a little bit about your situation and what's going on with you?
Oh, why, sure. How nice of you to ask, Miss Becky Sprong. You know, as if you don't know the whole story in its entirety because we've only been friends since, adolescence, but absolutely.
Okay, please enlighten us.
Enlighten you about the medical marvel that I am. Well, I, as of this April, will be a 7-year brain tumor survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Partially this one's fault, in tandem with a few others that have not allowed me to use the illness as an excuse to get down. But my disease is a big scary name called glioblastoma multiforme, GBM for short. Most people that have what I have are typically late 50s, 60s, 70s. It's very unusual for someone my age to be diagnosed with this disease, so that probably is really the biggest reason why I'm still here able to talk about this today. If it weren't for that, my doctors all along have really believed that my youth has been a major advantage in all of this because typically, people who are in their 50s and 60s and 70s already have other ailments aside from, just what they would already have suppressed immune systems and whatnot. But because I was otherwise healthy, until so this day, my doctors are, aside from this pesky brain tumor, I'm really the picture of health. If we could just get rid of this little booger,
Can I
then
ask how old you are?
do we have to go there?
Let's just say you're in your mid 30s. Is that all right to say?
Mid 30s is alright to say. Let's say, this year I will be celebrating the 6th anniversary of my 30th birthday.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
And you are married to a wonderful man named Dan. Although we don't really know if he's okay.
He's he's here. And, with just all of this medical business, and I just don't have the energy to start over again anyhow, so I guess I'll just let him stay.
And you do have a really good dog named Reggie, that that we're not going to say what he can be sometimes.
Right. He's interesting and he's quite a handful, but he's been my buddy and he's been with me all along too. So I do think that he's played his part in my whole situation.
So, can you tell me a little bit how your illness has impacted you and your life and
Gosh, how hasn't it? Would probably be a more appropriate question. It's impacted it in every way, shape, and form that it could. But it, that said, it hasn't been all bad. I mean, you can't ever know what it's like to hear the words you have cancer until you hear the words you have cancer. You can never know how you'll react or how you'll handle that. And I don't think anybody ever could, but luckily I have had an amazing support system with this one and several others who I have a magnificent family. I have magnificent in-laws. I have wonderful friends. I had fabulous coworkers when I was first diagnosed. I have had amazing doctors from day one. They've it's scary stuff and nobody has ever been dishonest with me that I have a bad disease. Like that's always been known. That's never been a secret. But nobody has ever really let me wallow in it or allow myself to give up. It's just kind of like just have to keep going. You know, it is what it is. I've got as much chance to be here tomorrow as anybody does, so it's just you play in the uniform you're given. that's
attitude.
that's my dad. That's my dad coming out. Mark was like, I remember him telling me from day one, like, just play in the uniform you're given. You go with it. Okay.
So you've been around a lot of nurses and doctors, and now does that like make a difference as to how um, like that impacts the way you are and the way like
Oh, without the doctors and the nurses that I had, especially early on, again, I wouldn't be here today. My medical team all along, they've been so just enlightening and just like, they've been, again, they're not willing to let me give up hope, and they're totally honest that this is a bad situation, and right now, just like with any cancer, there is no known cure. We're just, and with my being as far out as I am from diagnosis right now, that I'm kind of in a position where nobody really knows what to do with me next because nobody typically survives this long. When you're 70 and 80 years old and you get diagnosed with this, well, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, that's about all you get, even with treatment. But now that I've made it almost 7 years, it's kind of most of the treatments available are for the newly diagnosed. There's not a lot for there's no protocol for a survival rate of this long, so kind of blazing my own trail, which is cool in a way, but it's also very scary in a way. But day by day, day by day by day.
is there anything that you would say that like has I don't know if the word's annoyed or that you would change about your nurses or your doctors in the way that they like anything that you're like, man, I wish they would do this differently, or if they would only know this, or I don't know, like just to help us, we're getting ready to
Right,
graduate and
right.
help us to be better nurses and maybe more empathetic or
Needle sticks. Needle sticks. Take it from a human pincushion. If you can't find a vein, it's okay. Just tell me like you're having trouble and you can't find a vein, and maybe go find somebody who might have a better shot. Like maybe you're just having a bad day. You might be very good at finding the vein most days, and maybe you're just having an off day. Don't be afraid to be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go find somebody who maybe might have a better shot at this. Like that can really ruin it. It can ruin a relationship.
so needle sticks, just remember that then.
Remember the needle sticks.
So would you say that like I mean even though cancer's scary and it's we don't know the answers, would you say that in some ways it's kind of impacted your life positively
Oh,
just
absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds really weird to say, but there is so much about it that I wouldn't change for all the rice in China. It's like you see so much of the good in people. Like, you never know until you're in a serious situation how much people really care. And not just my good friends, and not just my family and my in laws, and, people who were a part of my life already, but it's like people that I worked with that I knew in passing, but it's like I got cards and flowers and emails and visits at the hospital from like just I was a receptionist at the time when I first got diagnosed, and just people that just because they saw me first thing every day, they felt like they knew me. Some of these people showed up at the hospital to visit me after
wow.
my surgeries. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just amazing. You don't realize how much you impact other people's lives either. It's amazing, really, like the good in humanity that I've seen through all of this. Like, I wish that everybody could experience it without having to be sick.
Yeah.
It's really how we should all be to each other anyway, It's sad that sometimes it takes a tragic situation to bring it out, but there's so much that has been really, really good about it too. It's made me so much stronger than I ever knew that I was or ever knew that I could be. Bring it. Whatever. I can deal with it.
Well then I'd say you're handling it pretty well.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, just you guys as nursing students and doctors, like, just positive reinforcement goes a long way, and it's like if you can be like, if your patients are really, really, really sick, even if you know it's bad, try not to let on how bad it is. Just try to help them stay up. And, obviously you can't lie. And,
Right.
nobody wants to be lied to. Like, don't tell me, oh, you have cancer. It's fine. We're going to find a cure. You're going to be fine. No.
But at least would you want to know every option available and be able to do what you can to fight.
A smile goes a long way. Just smile, just pop. Like, you look good today. Even if you're lying through your teeth, you know what? Little white lies never hurt anybody. Like, just simply telling someone, even when they're having a bad, like, you know what, you look good. Like,
Girl.
you feel good, go with it. You're feeling good, go with it. You look good, you're fine. You're fine today, so go with that.
If you had to like give me some words as to like some emotions that you feel like on a daily basis, what emotions? I'm sure they could range from all different kinds.
Absolutely. They minute to minute, hour to hour. They can go from one end of the spectrum to the other. But gosh, emotions.
Do you feel anxious? Do you ever
Absolutely.
feel like
Every day at some point. It's just it's difficult to wake up every day. Life is a terminal disease. None of us are getting out of here alive, but knowing that you have more issues than most, just waking up every day and knowing that it's taxing at times. It's sometimes does increase your anxiety level, especially if I wake up and I have a headache. It's like, oh, is this because the weather's goofy, or is this because my brain tumor is progressing? Or, it's
or did
hard.
I sleep weird last night? Or
Right. It's hard not to let yourself. It's really easy to let yourself slip into a dark place. It's kind of like, it's a lot of, that's the thing. That's what I'm talking, my doctors and my nurses all along, as well as my friends and family, but they have all been so great about trying to help me stay on the right train of thought. Like, trying to coach me into not letting myself slide into those dark places. Like, yeah, this is bad. They're honest, this is a bad situation, but they tell me, they're like, but look, you're doing well. Otherwise, like, yeah, you have this disease, but you're keeping your weight up, you're keeping your strength up, you're reading, walking the dog, other than this, like, you're pretty much living a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes a long way. It really does. It's just some positive reinforcement can really help out when someone's even in the most dire of situations. Just kind words go a long way. I have had some of the greatest nurses along the way. Like, they're really, like, they've become my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps. It really does.
I think that's good advice for us to hear to help, other patients.
Well, it's just like any relationship you have, if you trust people, you're gonna do better with them. You're gonna communicate better with them. And you guys, you have to ask some pretty disgusting questions. You have to, it gets a little personal and it gets a little weird, but it's like, if you've got that rapport and that, that trust and just that, the smiles and the warm feelings, it's a lot easier to talk about if you're pooping okay, or if you're constipated, or
Totally.
all the fun stuff you have to talk about.
Well, I think you've helped us out a lot. Trying to figure out
so.
figure out how illness impacts the patient. And I thank you for sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
And now you can tell my professor that we should get an A on this.
Oh, absolutely. Please.
Professor Turkelson.
Turkelson?
Just call her Sandy. Sandy.
Sandy? Okay. I know you don't know Pete Sears, but this goes back. You'll have to ask Becky about this in private. But for the love of Pete Sears, please, for the love of God, give her an A. I mean, she works so hard, and she's so close. So close. We've just got to get over this last hurdle. And come on, for me. Don't make me pull the brain tumor card. Don't make me look at you and say, look, I have a brain tumor. I mean, what are you going to say to that? You going to tell a girl who's got a brain tumor now? Come on. Give her an A, please.
Oh,
the whole group. They all get an A.
You're a great actress.
I know.
And I love you.
And the Emmy goes to.
Thing. We're gonna stop. Okay.